Welcome to CSEMA. Here we are about to learn computers and its basic operations and fundamental and functional components of computer and classifications based on the size, speed and nature of data processing. So be with me. Let's start it. Introduction to computer. As we know that computer is widely used in every field of education, technology, engineering, medical and other scientific organizations and so on. And we can define computer as it is an electronic device that is used to process and manipulate the huge amount of data with higher speeds. And we can say that it can process bulk of data within the minute, and on these data it can easily perform read and write operations, and it always produce more accurate and precise results. And computers having the characteristics as speed. As we know that computer performs any data manipulation and processing of operations with higher speeds, and it's always produce the accurate result. Means when it's never makes mistakes. When we say that the computer mistakes, no, it's not computer mistakes. It's the mistakes of the user who works on the computer to define and input data. And computer doesn't have any IQ. Means when we gives any input to the user and define and needs the result or manipulation or the manipulations of the data, that what kind of data computer having and why it's producing the such kind of results, then it could not be defined. It couldn't describe these outputs because it's just a machine. And computer have the power of remembering things, or we can say that it can be collect or store the large amount of data for the temporary or permanent and future uses. And computer doesn't have any feelings. In human behavior, when we have to do a same kind of task in many times, then we can easily bored. But computer does not. It can easily do the same task and produce the accurate and correct result and many times, and it have better storage capacity. And human used their brains mind to store data, but computers used storage devices memory to store data. And computer systems can be defined all the logical and physical components connected together, and we can or in other words we can say that when input and output devices and all other devices are connected and form a systems, it's called computer systems. And computer systems having two kinds of elements, that are hardware and software. And hardware can be defined as all the physical components like monitor, CPU, keyboard, wires, or all other things that we can see that form a computer system is called hardware. And software is the logical components or the set of instructions that perform any special or specific operations in the computer is called software. And sometimes software is also called program that designed to perform any specific operations on the computer. And software can be categorized into two categories on the basis of types and nature of the software. It can be system software that handles all the system activities. Means it handles all the hardware operations and control them. These are operating system, OS, and drivers. Means without these softwares, our hardware system is just like a dead body. And application software. Application software is a software that works on the system software and provides the better environment for the user, and it creates the user friendly environment and perform well defined operations. And we can say that hardware and software unit as a components, say that as like a human body. When human body is the hardware, then the soul of human body can be called as software. So we can say that hardware is the body of computer and software is the soul of computer. So here we know what is the input devices. We see many more devices connected with the computer, and these devices can be categorized on the basis of what kind of operations these devices perform. So input devices are the devices that are used to feed data or information into the computer for the further processing, and these devices are mouse, keyboard, touchpad, touch screen, joystick, microphone and camera. Mouse is the pointing device that is used to select any particular element or the data on the computer systems, and it is the widely used, and in laptop touchpad is used as pointing device, and in smartphone and mobiles the touch screen is used as input device that is used to control all the activities and operations of the computer, laptop and mobile phones. And microphone is used to put or feed the audio or any audio into the computers. And joysticks are widely used in gaming for controlling all the gaming activities. And camera is an input device that is used to take images, record videos and many more, and many devices used as input devices. And the other second important common devices is output devices. Output devices are the devices that used to display the computer results or output, or we can say that computer use these devices to send the processing result to the user. And these devices are monitor, speaker, printer, projector and so on. Monitor, here we see the screen and what kind of video it show us. We can see using the monitor. And a speaker produce the audio sounds as output, and when we need any hard copy of data, hard copy means print any information or data need to be printed on a paper for further use in files or the projects that must be printed. And printer is a device, output device, that is used to prints the data or information on the paper. And projector is same as the monitor, but it provides to project the specific elements on the any wall or display. And so we can say that input devices used to feed data into computer and output devices is used to get data from the computer. And the storage devices, as we know that computer takes inputs and produce some outputs, and when we need to store these outputs, then we use the storage devices. Storage devices are basically the semiconductor devices, that is memory, and these memory are used to store the data for future use and immediate and temporary accessibility. It can be RAM, random access memory, ROM, read-only memory, hard disks and pen drive, and CD and DVD. And these storage devices can be categorized into two categories: primary storage and the secondary storage. Primary storage in the sense that store the temporary data, that is RAM and ROM, And secondary storage devices are the device that used to store the permanent data, that is hard disk, pen drive, CD or DVD and floppy disks and other magnetic disks. And another last important hardware unit is the processing units that used to process all the inputs provided by the users, and it handles all the operations inside the computers. So let's take an example. You need the output of 2 plus 2. So what is the output of 2 plus 2? What is the device that is used to perform operations of 2 plus 2 in the computer? And these the devices, processing unit, that is used to perform these operations that must be output as 4, but 2 plus 2 equal to 4. The CPU is the central processing unit of the computer system that is responsible for processing and controlling all the input output operations inside the computer systems. And CPU, two of the major components are widely used for processing in the CPU is ALU and CU. ALU used to control all the arithmetic and logical operations, and controlling unit is used to control all the activities or operations performed by CPU. So we can say that processing unit is the unit that is mainly used for the processing purpose. And the basic operations of the computer system. So here first basic operation of computer is input, that used to feed data into computer for processing by using the input devices, and processing. Second operation is processing. When computer gets input from user by using input devices, then these data must be processed. Means any kind of operations performed on data, that is called processing. And the third important basic operation of computer is output. When data is processed, means data can be any raw fact that we provided input to the computer is known as data. And when the processing is done, then we get the information, and these information is produced by output devices, and the overall procedures that we can get the output of information is called output operations. And the last basic operation of computer is storing. When all the operation are performed on the input data, then we can store this data into memory for the temporary and permanent storage for future use, and these operations is called storing operations. And we can also say that another basic operation of the computer is data transmissions. Means when we transmit data from one computer to another, it's called data transmissions. In this figure, we see that here input is provided for processing, and after processing we can store in storage devices, or we can produce just output. We can also use these output data as input for other computers or the same computers. It's called feedback. And functional component of computer. Functional component of computers means what kind of components computer used to perform any operations in the computers. Means we see in a computer system a lots of components are connected together, and why these components are connected with a single CPU or a computer systems. And these devices are input devices, output devices, CPU. And we also describe in, as we know that input devices is used to feed data into computer, output devices is used to get data or produce data get data from the computer, or computer use these devices to sends the processing result to the user. and CPU. CPU is responsible for all the operations and processing performed inside the computer systems, and three major components of CPU are LU, CU and memory. LU used to perform arithmetic and logical operations. Arithmetic operations that are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and the logical operations are and, or, not, or any kinds of rotation like left rotation, right rotation and shifting. And the second important component of the CPU is control unit, CU, that used to control all the operations that can be arithmetic, logical or any kind of data transmission operations is controlled by control unit. And the last important component of CPU is memory, that used for storage purpose of the input and the other informations. And the classifications of computers. Computers can be classified on the basis of its size and what kind of data it's used to process. And on the basis of data processing, we can categorize computer in three parts. First one is the analog computer, second is digital computer, and third is the hybrid computer. Analog computer is the computer that used to process the analog data, and we say that analog computers takes the analog data as input and process them, and it's always produce the output as analog. It is easy to use and it's produce the result in real time. And second computer type is the digital computer, that used to takes the input as digital data and always produce the result in digital data, form of digital data. And third computer type is the hybrid computer. Hybrid computers have the both kind of computers properties, that is analog and digital computers. So we can say that the hybrid computer is the computers that is the combination of analog and digital computers. It can easily take analog and digital both kind of data as input, and it can also produce the data in the same types. It can be analog data and digital data as output. And we can also classify the computer on the basis of its size and speed of the data, means what the speeds that the computer perform, and these can be classified into four categories. First category is the personal computer. Personal computer is the small sized and single user computers, and it can be easily portable from one location to another location, like as our smartphone, mobile phones and a laptop that can be easily used from one location, and we can easily carry them into our bags from one location to another's, and palm top, notebook, and the PDA, personal digital assistants, and any other desktop applications that use the microprocessor as its CPU, central processing units element. The second types of computers is many computer. Many computer is the computer that supports the multi-user functionality. Multi-user in the sense, in these computer systems, multiple user can be work together and perform the simultaneously operations and execute the simultaneously, means at a time. Any operations can be executed at a time. These computers are mid in size, means it's just something greater than the personal computers. And third category is the supercomputer. Supercomputer is the fastest computer that used to process a large amount of data and instructions as within the second or the minute, and it is very expensive and large in size. It can just occupy a full complete building or just a large room, and It's used for the faster data transmissions. It's used for the fastest data processing, and its applications areas are weather forecasting, nuclear research, and scientific simulations, and the other applications where large amount of data that need to be processed fastly. And the another last category of the computer is mainframe computer. What is the mainframe computer? Mainframe computer is just like a supercomputer, but supercomputer is mainly focused on processing of data and informations, but mainframe is mainly focused on storing and retrieving of these data, and it also supports the powerful functionality and provides the multi-user capabilities. And it is also very expensive computers, widely used in the large organizations for huge amount of data processing. And booting. What is the booting? We already listen about these words that computer is booting. So what does it means? So we can say that the booting is a process or group of process performed inside a computer system when our computer system is turned on, and these operations are POST, power on self test. Power on self test is used to check all the connected devices for powering, that all the devices have the correct powering facility or any kinds of short circuit is performed or not. And the second operation is the BIOS sector loading, and BIOS stands for basic input output systems. BIOS it is a piece of program, that used to control all the input output operations, and BIOS sector loading that used to load BIOS from secondary memory to main memory, or in simple words we can say that booting is the loading or unloading of operating system from secondary memory to primary memory. So here we think, so why the operating system load from secondary memory to primary memory? So we know that all the operations in the computer systems is performed on the primary memory, means RAM, random access memory, and computer don't even know that he has a secondary memory, hard disk. So when we turn on our computer, then operating systems must be load on the random access memory, RAM. And booting can be categorized into three categories. First one is the cold or hard booting. When our computer is first turned on after no longer on, or just we switch on our computer, is called cold booting or hard booting. In the cold booting, our operating systems is load from hard disk, that is secondary storage, and hard disk to RAM, random access memory, that is primary memory. And second is the warm or soft booting. When our computer is turned on or we using our computers, and then we need to restart our computers, and the restarting of computers is called warm or soft booting. In this process, the computers used to unload the operating system from random access memory, and it's store it in the secondary memory. And when our computers again restarted, then it again loads the operating system from hard disk to random access memory. And the third category of booting is hot booting. And when we using our computers and we perform all the work that we need to use on computers, and we want to just shut down our computers, then we shut down our computers. And these operations, that when our computer is shutting down, what kind of operation is performed inside the computer systems is abbreviated as hot booting. In the hot booting, Operating systems is loaded from random access memory to secondary storage memory, that is hard disk, in or we say that operating systems unloads from primary memory to secondary memory. That's it. That is the booting. And watching. I hope you like the video. Thank you.